The Baltimore Ravens are poised to make a statement against the New York Giants in Week 15. We talk about how both teams match up with each other, keys to victory, and so much more coming up on a game day edition of Locked On Ravens.
You are Locked On Ravens, your daily Baltimore Ravens podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into another edition of Locked On Ravens, your daily Baltimore Ravens podcast. I'm your host, Kevin IceShaker of Ravens Wire, here with you on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for being here today on this game day edition of the show, making Locked On Ravens both a part of your day and your first listen each and every single day, free and available for you, all podcasting platforms. That includes in video form on YouTube, where you can like and subscribe to the channel. Also in audio form, where you can follow along and subscribe over there as well. It's the same show, both on audio and in video, so you're not missing out any which way you want to consume our content. We're a 5-day week plus more daily Ravens show, so we bring you Ravens news, analysis, updates, and so much more. We go live after every Ravens game, which again we'll be doing later today, and of course every single piece of Ravens big news as well. Today's game day edition of Locked On Ravens is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You're going to start with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Ravens football is back. Bye week hopefully was a good reset for everybody. And now they have a game against the New York Giants. Ravens open up just massive favorites, and that is as it should be. But we're going to be talking about how the Ravens match up with the Giants on offense, and same thing on defense. We'll get into final predictions and a lot more. But first, I have to take a minute or two here just to thank everybody, for those who have been following along with me, for the everydayers. Even if you're new here, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube was a huge goal for me. Obviously, I first day doing this in video form, I made it clear that was kind of the first big milestone. And we hit it last night, Saturday night. We hit it now, and we're already on the way to 20,000. But I can't thank everybody enough for the support here on Locked On Ravens, whether you are an everyday or you listen each and every day, if you are new to the channel, or if you are somewhere in the middle there. I mean, this has been such an incredible journey. Started this show up in audio form in 2019. First ever episode was on Kari Vedvik back in August of 2019. We've been through a lot here on Locked On Ravens, and it's been an incredible journey. You know, Friday, in terms of the regular Locked On Ravens show, excluding bonus episodes and lives and whatnot, that was my 1,400th consecutive episode here. I've never missed a single weekday episode in my 5+ years of doing this. So I can't wait for the next 10,000. And I'll get into the Ravens content in a second, but I'll definitely be talking about this both on the live show and probably even tomorrow as well, as we dive into that too. But 10,000 is a lot of people and a lot of support, and even in audio form too. That community has been growing each and every day. So it's been unreal to see the growth on this show. And each and every single season, we're continuing to add more and more and more. And my goal here is to provide is best of Ravens coverage as I can, the best Ravens coverage I can. And I strive to do that each and every single day. And I'll continue to do that here on Locked On Ravens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for 10,000. And let's get to 20,000. That's the next big goal. Dixie Cup outfit, by the way, I'll wear that for a full week. Has been ordered. It's on the way. So when that gets here, I will let everybody know. But let's get into the Ravens content here. How the Ravens offense, goes up and matches up with that New York Giants defense. I think this is an area that a lot of people expect the Ravens to win big at. And I think for good reason. You have Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry, and it's not just that. Even if you want to just narrow it down to Lamar, it's you have a motivated Lamar Jackson. You have an antsy, an amped up Lamar Jackson. And this Giants defense is not going to have Dexter Lawrence, and that's just one of the many big losses the Giants defense has faced this season. Look, if we're talking about matchups, this is an incredible matchup for the Ravens. Obviously, Baltimore right now, they're unreal. They're the number one passing offense in the league and the number one rushing offense in the league. They've been historic on the offensive side of the ball. Meanwhile, the Giants defense, not so historic. Now, in terms of pass defense, they're actually not super terrible. They're actually middle of the pack, middle of the league, 14th with 6.2 yards per attempt given up. But here's where I think everybody's hoping and looking for the Ravens to exploit this Giants defense, and that is on the ground. Giants are 30th in the league in run defense, 4.9 yards per attempt. And as I mentioned, Dexter Lawrence not being in there for the Giants in the middle of that defensive line is a massive loss. Derrick Henry, to me, my prediction, and we'll get more into this in the final part of the show, but a little spoiler is one of my big predictions is Derrick Henry has one of his best games as a Raven. Now, does he go for 199 like he did against Buffalo? Who knows? I mean, again, that's pretty hard to replicate, but Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. I just feel like with this Giants defense and, some of their second level defenders out too, the more Derrick Henry gets rolling on a specific play, each level that he gets to, man, I mean, it's more and more impossible to stop him. So I feel like this is a game where the Ravens have to establish the run early, establish that run, and everything else, like we've talked about all season, everything else will fall into place, especially when it comes to play action, right? I mean, if Derrick Henry is carving you up, and for Lamar Jackson, I feel like we're going to see him use his legs a little bit more here down the stretch in these final 4 games. So if that happens, I believe that, look, you get the play action game going. Well, now the linebackers have to creep up. Now you got to bring more guys into the box. And all of a sudden, your run game is helping your pass game. And even, the other flip side of that, the pass game is helping the run game. So establish Derrick Henry early. You can mix Justice Hill in there, Lamar Jackson as well. And I think that the Ravens, if they can do that, would be well on their way to a big offensive explosion. Now, in terms of the pass offense, again, mentioned the Giants are 14th in terms of net yards per attempt given up through the air this season. You look at Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers with Deontay Johnson suspended, and not like he was really playing anyway, but those two guys, they're going to be the keys here. But I'm interested. I'm curious to see these final 4 weeks what Isaiah Likely's role is going to be in this offense. And even Tylan Wallace as well. Some guys I'm watching in this game, I'm curious to see how the Ravens utilize Tylan Wallace and Nelson Aguilar together. I would assume that Tylan Wallace continues to get more snaps and Nelson Aguilar kind of slots in as that 4th receiver. But we know what Zay Flowers can do. We know what Rashad Bateman can do. But who are going to be the other guys in the receiver room that can step up? Obviously, I'm not including Mark Andrews or Likely in that conversation. It's okay. Can Tylan Wallace take advantage of opportunities? Can Nelson Aguilar? It's been a difficult season compared to what he was last year. He's had a couple of big moments, but I think compared to what he did for the Ravens in 2023, it's been a bit of a disappointment. I think that those two guys have to take advantage of opportunities, and this is the perfect get-right game. It's the perfect make-a-statement game. We know this offense has struggled a little bit over this last month or so, and after a historic start to the season, they were really rolling. I mean, they're still, despite their struggles, the number 1 pass offense and run offense in the league. That's incredible. But what can you do out of this bye week? Because you have this tough stretch coming up, 3 games in 11 days, and there's a lot that you can do here, especially when it comes to even the offensive line, being able to establish momentum. The Giants are not the most talented team the Ravens have left on the schedule. This is not the most important game the Ravens have left on their schedule, but you need to have some level of a statement made in this game. It's not a bold prediction to say that the Ravens win this game in blowout fashion. I'm not trying to come on here and coin that and be, oh, look at me, I'm the only one predicting the Ravens are going to blow out the Giants. No, of course not. We'll get to my predictions in the final part of the show, but I think for a lot of people, if the Ravens put up 18 points on the Giants, that's a little concerning, right? You want the Ravens heading into a stretch with Pittsburgh, which is going to be the biggest game left, Houston, again, has had some struggles, but regardless, and then Cleveland, who beat you once before. You have to be able to use this game as almost a stepping stone, right? The first step to be able to get to where you want to go, because now with the bye week done, 3 seasons, maybe 4. You got before the bye week, after the bye week, playoffs, Super Bowl. Those are your 4 seasons. You're in season 2 of hopefully 4. You got to have a strong end to your year in order to make the playoffs, because guess what? AFC North, not out of the question whatsoever, but you have to win games because you put yourself in a little bit of a hole with 5 losses before the bye. So we'll see what happens, but I do feel pretty confident in Baltimore's offense against this Giants defense, especially because you look at some of the conversion percentages here. The Giants are not a terrible third down defense. They're 15th in the league in terms of third down percentage. In red zone percentage, they're not awful either. It's 14th. They're not glamorous in either of those aspects, but they're also not top 5. And I think with multiple guys out now, we're going to start to see maybe that number slip a little bit, and I think Baltimore can be the team that really puts them down in the rankings in those categories. So that's the key, right? Convert on third down, convert in the red zone, keep drives alive, and score 7 instead of 3. That's going to be big for the Ravens in this game. Coming up in the second part of the show, we'll flip the field, talk about that Baltimore defense against Tommy DeVito and that New York Giants offense. Stay tuned, a lot to get to on the show. First, the show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for shots and up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Prize Picks has so many things over there, and I love going on Prize Picks, seeing everything that they are offering. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can earn up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks, and Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. So if you think James Cook will get more than 60 yards next week, or maybe Joe Burrow passes for more than 1.5 touchdowns, cook up those hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. So for this Ravens and Giants game, maybe you're looking at Lamar Jackson more than his passing yard projection, Derrick Henry more than his rushing yard projection. Be sure to pick your side over on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And the show is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite, and right now you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, score an extra $30 off with the promo code NFL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. Minimum purchase may apply. We're back. Our second segment, Locked On Ravens. Kevin Ostreicher is still here with you on this game day edition of the show. Appreciate everybody again for being here and making Locked On Ravens a part of your day, your first listen each and every single day. We do these game day episodes to get everybody hyped up for game day, right? Ravens Giants, week 15, 1 p.m. Maybe you're on the way to grab some food for the game, or heading over to a friend's house or a family member's house to watch the game, or maybe you're just hanging out waiting for 1 p.m. kickoff. So we try to provide some great analysis there. This is the, I guess, the first 10,000 episode. And actually I did like the Wilt. If it's, oh, wow, that's bright on the lights. There we go. You see, I got the 10,000 sticky. There it is. Here we go. We're holding it up like Wilt did with the 100 points. 10,000. We got it. So I'll hold this up a couple more times, but, you know, got to get a prop in for the 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hit that goal last night on Saturday. Again, I'm just blown away by all the support and all the kind messages about it as well. So thank you for that. And again, here's to the next 10,000. But let's talk about now Baltimore's defense versus the Giants offense. It's going to be Tommy DeVito against the Ravens defense, which, again, pretty much regardless of who it was at quarterback for the Giants, I think you have to feel pretty confident in what this Ravens defense can do, especially with how they've performed over the last 3 weeks since that Cincinnati game, which obviously was, you know, there were a lot of low points for the Ravens defense, but man, that Cincy game was brutal. Baltimore's defense, especially in the pass department, number 1, top 5, and a lot of different categories there. You look at the Giants offense, and yeah, it hasn't necessarily been great. They are the last rated, the worst passing offense in the NFL, Giants offense just has not been good this season in that department, whether it was Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito. It's been a roller coaster ride, and it hasn't been necessarily a good one. Now, rushing wise, they're actually not horrendous. They're 11th in the league, 4.5 yards per attempt. A lot of that obviously has to do with Tyrone Tracy, who has burst onto the scene for the Giants team. It's not like the Giants have no talent on offense. It's not. Tracy is awesome. Malik Neighbors is awesome as well. The issue is there really isn't a lot outside of those two guys. Like, really, that's what it is. And when we talk about this Ravens defense, look, what has been one of the big things that has haunted this defense over the course of the season, especially in the pass game, it has been not being able to stop the clear number one option in offenses. Devontae Adams goes off. Jamar Chase torches this defense twice. Multiple other aspects where star number one receivers are going off. And the Ravens have had moments of good with that. Like CeeDee Lamb was shut down for the most part. A.J. Brown had some moments in that Philly game, but still, didn't have like 200 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns or anything. This game for me, if the Ravens can just put the clamps on Malik Neighbors, you want to cloud cover him, you want to shade guys over his way, make someone else beat you. Because some of the other options that this Giants team has, some of the guys that have caught passes for the Giants over the course of the season, guys like Wan'Dale Robinson, right? You're fine if Wan'Dale Robinson makes plays. A guy like Darius Slayton has caught passes for the Giants this season. Daniel Bellinger at the tight end position. They don't have a lot of options. And to me, if you shut down Malik Neighbors, it gets a beat on Tyrone Tracy in terms of you can hone in and key on him. And that to me is the key. Stop Malik Neighbors, stop Tyrone Tracy, and that's your ball game. Now, a lot more easier said than done, obviously. Malik Neighbors is a heck of a talent. I think over the next 2 seasons, even over the next season, we're going to see him turn into one of the best receivers in this league. He's already getting there. He's shown a lot this season already. I know that, he's drawing comparisons this week among the Ravens coaching staff to Jamar Chase and what he brings to the table. So LSU receivers, man, they are incredible. But that's where it comes down to guys like Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Stevens, maybe Trey White gets involved in the action as well. Shutting down Malik Neighbors and making the Giants beat you with other talent, which, again, they don't really have a lot of. To me, I think this is going to be a big statement game, hopefully for guys like Odafe Owe in this pass rush. Guys like Travis Jones, who has clearly made an impact for the team this season. Nnamdi Madubuike, right? Kyle Van Noy is good to go. This, again, is like the Ravens defense has played really well over the last 3 weeks. You don't want to lose your momentum against the Giants offense that has no business. Tommy DeVito, no business whatsoever in beating this team, in beating this defense, particularly because Baltimore's had the best rushing attack defensively in the league this season. Their pass defense has improved, as we've talked about. You want to continue that stride. And so the difference between a Drew Lock and the Tommy DeVito, we talked about this with Patricia Traina of Locked On Giants on Thursday, was that for Drew Lock, he is a little more risky with the football, doesn't hold it as long, but puts the ball in harm's way more often. You then look at Tommy DeVito, who is less of a turn the ball over type quarterback, but he holds the ball for a while, so that leads to more sacks. And I think, to me, when you're looking at this, that's where I feel like the pass rush is going to make a really, really big impact. Now, what I would like to see, one thing I'd like to see out of this Ravens defense is turnovers. The Ravens have not really been a big turnover defense this season. They're 23rd in the league, and really feels like Marlon Humphrey has been the main turnover. It's true, Marlon has been the main turnover guy for them, but not a lot of others. And part of that obviously has to do with dropped interceptions and missed opportunities in that aspect and in that part of the game. But hey, what better time to get in on that and to start that trend than now? You're looking at a Ravens defense that you would hope could have had more turnovers at this point in the year. Unfortunately, hasn't worked out that way. But looking at this Giants team, I think there are other things to talk about just in terms of their offensive conversion percentage, which I do actually find pretty interesting with what they have conversion-wise, because to me, we talked about on offense for the Ravens, how if they can score points in the red zone, 7 instead of 3, if they can keep their offense on the field on third down, that's huge, right? Well, for the Giants, on the other hand, 23rd in the league on offense and third down conversion percentage. They are last in the league in red zone conversion percentage, 41.7%. Obviously, the Ravens defense has been decently good in those areas. And by decently good, I mean they're the, at least in the red zone, not like great or anything. They're 18th. So it's like, they're kind of good, like bottom-ish, middle of the pack of the league. Third down defense certainly stands to use some work. That's one of their weaknesses this season. They're 25th in the league there. But again, you're talking about a bad red zone offense against a middling red zone defense and kind of a middling third down offense versus a kind of poor third down defense. So trends are going to be the key here. Can the Ravens break some of these trends in this game? That's what I'm going to be looking for in this matchup. But coming up in the final part of the show, we'll talk about final predictions. We'll talk some Justin Tucker and a lot more. Don't go anywhere. A lot to talk about here on Locked On Ravens. First, the show is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get 100 in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. I'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. So for this Ravens and Giants game over on FanDuel, Ravens 16.5-point favorites. Just an incredible, massive spread for Baltimore. If you like the Ravens as the road favorite or the Giants as the home underdog, be sure to pick your side there over on FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more. FanDuel, official sports partner of the NFL. We are back here, Locked On Ravens. Kevin IceShaker talking with you on this game day edition episode of the show. A little week 15 action between the Ravens and the Giants upcoming. We're going to go live after the game on Locked On Ravens. So if you want the instant analysis, we'll go live about 15 minutes after, maybe 30 at the pretty maximum. But we're going to be talking about everything that happened in that game. Win, lose, hopefully not tie. We do not like ties here on Locked On Ravens, so we're trying to avoid that at all costs. But be sure to tune in for that as well. Hit that like and subscribe button in video form. Follow along in audio form. Be sure to tell a friend and tell a family member as well about the show. Word of mouth still really, really huge in today's age. I know everybody's on social media, promote the show. And I do. I promote the show over there, but word of mouth is really big as well. So be sure to spread the word to anybody who you feel would love daily Ravens coverage. Now, some final predictions for me. Let's start off with Justin Tucker. Really big topic of conversation. You hope that he can turn it around after the bye week, and it will be a bit of a reset period for him, obviously. Call this bold, I guess. It's weird to kind of call this a bold prediction, but I expect Justin Tucker to be perfect today. I expect him to be perfect today. I do. Bye week, again, there's been a lot of conversation about, where Tucker is mentally and is he okay? And look, I'm sure it's been tough on him, but he's a competitor. Doesn't want to let his team down. He understands he certainly has in multiple ways this season, costing games, missing field goals, putting the team behind the 8 ball in a lot of certain situations. If it's not now, then when? That's my big thing. If not now, when? You're starting to see across the league quality kicker options, and by quality, I mean at least more quality than what's out there right now. Guys getting cut. Chiefs just released Matthew Wright, who was filling in for Harrison Butker, as Butker is now back. But it's kind of just like the Ravens, they're clearly trusting Justin Tucker to get out of this funk. And my bold prediction is that he's going to do it. And I'll even go as far as saying at least 3 for 3 on field goals. At least 3 for 3. I don't feel as good about it as I would have 4 years ago or 3 years ago, obviously, right? I think everybody can kind of attest to that as well. But they need Justin Tucker in a big, big way on Sunday. Now, another prediction for me is I believe that Isaiah Likely has 2 touchdowns in this game. That's like bold, right? That's bold. But I think that they're going to try to use him a little more out of the bye week. I feel like that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to say 2 touchdowns for Isaiah Likely, not at the expense of Mark Andrews or anything. I still think Mark has a decent game. but I'm going 2 touchdowns for Isaiah Likely in this one. And I also think Lamar Jackson, he just is a demon, both with his arm and with his legs. But obviously, the top of the conversation is, will he run more? The answer to that to me is yes. I think he has 2 rushing touchdowns in this game and a lot of off-script running plays. I think he's true to his word here, and I think that is an aspect he is really going to try to hone in on in this one. Defensively, I'm going to say Trey White gets his first interception as a Raven, and I'm going to say Nate Wiggins, first career interception. I'm going to go the Ravens turn the Giants over 3 times in this game, get a little turnovers into their stat sheet. I clearly, if you're picking up and kind of keeping a track of my bold predictions, I expect this to be a pretty big Ravens victory. I think Baltimore's set up for it. The Giants are a team that obviously they're going to come in. The guys on the field are going to play hard, but I just think it's such a talent difference and 2 teams going in 2 completely different directions. I think a lot of people, the Giants, are just looking forward to May, March, April, right? Getting offseason underway. Again, guys on the field are going to play hard. They're going to try to win. And the Ravens have had issues playing down to competition. And you hope that they can break out of that funk. I'm going to say they will. I'll be disappointed if they don't. We'll talk about that on the show if they don't. But I'm going to go Ravens win this game by 4 touchdowns. I'm going to say they win 38-10. That's big. That's probably the biggest prediction of them all. 38-10. That's a bold prediction. But I really think Baltimore is going to come out here. Is it actually going to be 4 touchdowns? Who knows? But a statement win. If they win this game I think they need to win it by at least 14 to make you feel all right about it. And, 21 plus is good. 4 touchdowns is great. But hey, as long as you come out with a win, that's the most important thing. We're going to see how it all unfolds, though, on Sunday. That's all I have for you here today on Locked On Ravens. Be sure to, on the way out, hit that like and subscribe button in video form and follow along and subscribe in audio form as well. Turn notifications on, too. Both audio and video. We're going to be live after the game in video form. And, of course, you can also watch that if you missed the live in playback, both video and audio form. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Enjoy the game. I'll see you right back here later today on Locked On Ravens.